All right.
Good.
Looks like we're going. We should be good to go.
Okay, well, we'll call this meeting to order. So we don't have a quorum, there'll not be any action this morning. So we'll move down to item 4 this morning with the AOC project schedule update. Mark, are you gonna do that?
Yeah, I was, yes, I'm sorry, I was on mute.
So,
Let me, let me share my screen. Hold on. Can you all see the schedule?
no,
No? What about now?
there we go.
Okay. All right. Basically, this is basically a revised schedule that Jeff worked on. We had come up with at the CFSC meeting. So if you can go up here and look at the top, basically, this is where we basically had Sherman Carter Barnhart on hold while we're waiting on funding from the General Assembly. This period right here. So at this point in time, they weren't able to do any work. Of course, we just got the design approved through the Court Facility Standards Committee, the CFSC. Sherman Carter Barnhart has a commitment on another project that basically goes on right into here on a large project where they're unavailable to work on this project. So basically, Jeff has come in and reworked this stuff down through here to take into account this one section right here where they have this other obligation. So basically, that takes us through, I think, mid-April, I believe it looks like on here. So as far as stuff going on with the project, we're going to be kind of in a holding pattern here for a while until we can get this picked back up. But that's basically where we are on getting stuff going again with the project. So, with this delay right here, Jeff's showing basically July of next year, we would have our next phase of design done. So when we get this picked back up, we're going to get into maybe further detail on the project as far as, I assume double checking the finishes in the courtroom and that type of stuff. And usually Sherman Carter Barnhart has other additional questions they work on that they get feedback from the board and whatnot. Jeff, can you tell them can you give them a brief overview of what all happens in phase B on your end?
Yes. So first of all, yeah, just a little further explanation. That big black bar is just us. We were hoping that we could get something going to get started on it between now and then, but unfortunately, all of our other consultants, they've gotten booked up until that time, so we can't really work without them. So that's why there's a gap between now and the start of the other project in August, is because our consultants were not able to get back up going themselves. So there's a multitude of problems. Obviously, the project was supposed to have been mostly done by now, but that there would have been only a slight bit of overlap in getting it out to bid, but that, of course, just didn't happen that way. When we get into phase B, what we will be doing, we've already shown you quite a bit, but we'll start getting into a little bit more of the details that you all will be able to review on, as Mark said, the finishes, millwork, terrazzo floor patterns, that sort of thing, so that you all can get a better idea of exactly what the finished product will look like. So at that point, it still won't be near what would be needed for actual construction documents, but it would be enough for you all to be able to commit to the design to the point that when the phase B completes, it's just then a matter of us doing all of the technical work that needs to be done to produce that. So that's when we pick it back up. That's what we'll be getting into, is a lot more of that that detail beyond what you have seen. Obviously, on the exterior, the rendering shows it pretty well, but we'll get into actually picking brick and getting you some samples, that sort of thing, so that you have a better idea of the actual products that would be used. So that's an overview of what the next phase will be like. Same thing too, even from our consultants' standpoint, if there are any specific concerns you all have regarding how you want the HVAC system to operate, or how it's zoned, or that sort of thing, that's when they start getting into that, so that you all can, put your input in on, that, the lighting, if you have any specific concerns or interest with that. And even on the site, we've shown some things on the site early on, with the landscaping, where the walks are. We're showing a bit of a developed plaza area on the northwest end of the tip of the site as you enter the project. Not much space to do anything there other than to make it look really nice. And so that was our desire all along, was to, as folks entered the property, that there'd be something to kind of welcome them there. And then, that's something you all can begin thinking about, so that when we finish up phase B, we'll know exactly what direction you want to go with something like that. So yeah, those are some of the activities we'll be involved with next phase.
Jeff, would you mind sending me a copy of that schedule, please?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Jeff, could I ask, this is Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Is the floor plan finished to the point that AOC can do their furniture plan and IT data stuff?
Yeah, we have finished it to the point. I mean, unless, the PDB sees a need to revise something, as far as we're concerned, we've worked out, the layout. So yeah, I'd say that would be good. We can, and so whatever you need for that, I don't know if you need.
We need CADs
CAD
and we
files.
can make our PDFs. Yeah, and if the site, I know the site's likely not to the point.
Yeah, there's not
doing
much on the
those.
site beyond what you saw in, on that one diagram that was in the CFSC package, but.
That is something that we will need for security, to do exterior camera placement. Just so keep that in mind.
That's more of a presentation image at this point.
Right.
I mean, I'm not to say we couldn't give you we can give you a PDF, but I don't know that there's much of a CAD file on that one yet.
No, just keep in mind that as soon as it's done, it gives us more time to get that.
I got you.
Done. Thank you.
But you'd like to go ahead and get the CAD files of the floor plans?
Yes, because we can do furniture and the IT stuff. And then if the courtroom is also, I mean, that's also finished.
I think it
is. The JAVS coordination can be done as well. In your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we've worked out the bench layout and where the jury is, the spectator seating. I mean, all that's in place. I mean, we've and generally what we do with the attorney tables is, of course, they're movable, as is the witness box and the lecterns, but we typically go ahead and anticipate that they're probably going to be where we show them, and therefore that's where the floor boxes occur. So if there's any comments on that, the only real impact at this point would be where the floor boxes would occur. So that would be something you could look at.
And in Oldham, we provided dimensions for those. AOC provided those dimensions, so we can do that as
So we'll go ahead and when I'm off of here today, we'll get that set up and sent over to you.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions on this stuff while we've got everybody on here?
So Mark, if I'm looking at this schedule right, then we're looking at March of 26, actually, before we start any construction,
Yes.
year and a
Yeah.
half now.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a ways out. Now, the reality is, you know, as Mike Smith and I have talked with AOC extensively about this. You know, if we can do better on it, we will. But that, you know, it still won't get started until after that other project. So there won't be anything that's probably not going to change. But after that, when we get back onto it, you know, I've already talked to our consultants. You know, if there's anything we can do to speed it up, we certainly will do that. I mean, we have interest in finishing the job ourselves. So, you know, we'll revisit all this. It's not going to get any worse. It hopefully will get better, but it's hard to say that this far out.
With that being the case, this is Colton Givens here. With that being the case, with this delay, is there any way that we can revisit the possibility of the early demolition package to at least get this property cleaned up so we don't have the old building sitting there until mid, 26?
Well, I guess from the CM standpoint, he can take a look at that. It's getting a whole nother package out is another level of effort that, you know, architecturally on our end, we're between now and then probably not going to have time to do that. Now that said, I'm not trying to, you know, throw Tim under the bus at all, but sometimes the CM might be able to get a package together, particularly if it's just a matter of cleaning up the site. That was sort of done down in
Barron County.
Clinton County, where there was initial demolition just to clear the site of the buildings and all that, understanding that there would be additional demolition related to the grade work and all of that, you know, as we got further into construction documents. And so I guess Tim could comment on whether or not that's something they could work in there with what we have already, because we don't have right now, there are no demolition drawings done. But if it's just a matter of clearing the site, that might be something he could take care of. But that's
and just to clarify, that's what I'm talking about, is just clearing the site and at least showing the public that we're working towards getting something done on this, you know. And I understand the timeline issues on your end, but I think
Right.
it would be good for the community and give us at least a little bit of head start when we get ready to start really moving.
Right.
We did the same thing in Barron County with that courthouse over there. And I'm not sure, I'm not in charge of that one, so I'm not sure what documents they had, but I'll look into that. And I think, do we not have some borings that need to go kind of in close proximity to those existing buildings? So again, that may help that situation out too, where potentially those that geotechnical work could be done also.
Yeah,
so,
you're right. That would be helpful. That would be get that done earlier than later, and it give us a little more information going into design. So, but I think the clarification would be like we did in Clinton, and that's the way the CM down there. Yeah, they didn't really have a lot in the way of documents. They basically just set up a package to demolish the buildings, you know, and you know, how far you go with that, as far as how deep you go. I mean, if some of that needs to wait till later, that could always happen in the demolition package that's associated with the overall package. So,
you do have a site survey, correct?
yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, perhaps we could use that document and just expand on it where, buildings and footings and that, be removed. So I think that's doable. I think that's something we could look at.
Yeah. You should have a copy of that survey, but if I don't mind, I'll just go ahead and when I send you the schedule, I'll send that to you as well. Just so
Okay.
you have it together. And yeah, then as far as I don't think anything that needs to be demolished is really tied to what the new development is so much because they're not really we're not salvaging anything. So
Correct.
it's you could pretty much take out whatever you want to take out.
Okay.
You know,
I think that's very doable. So we'll look into that and see what we can do.
Thanks.
okay.
Thank you all.
Yeah. And that just means that when we do develop the construction documents, the one thing that sometimes is helpful at that point is to get maybe get the surveyor back out there at some point and to update the survey with the actual conditions, if with the building's gone, because that means the next contractor when he bids it is bidding with a survey based on the actual condition versus the one
We
that
could actually include that in that bid package that a survey be conducted on that property as part of that.
Yeah.
After the demo is done, we could put that in there where that is a document that is required as closeout.
Yeah, that would be good. And that gives everybody who's bidding the big project know exactly what they're starting from. Yeah.
Jeff, is there anything else you can think of we need to talk about? Anything
I
the
can't.
board needs to be
No.
thinking about?
The only thing that I had mentioned to Dan yesterday is I know there was some discussion before about whatever remediation might need to be done with the environmental. And I mean, this goes back a long time, but the way it was left was that the environmental consultant, whenever you're ready to do that, then be engaged to, help you get that going.
Yeah, most of that, a lot of that was identified in those phase 1 and phase 2.
Yeah, I think that the difference is if you want, the problem is, how do you want to procure it?
Mm-hmm.
And the way it was done down in Clinton County, and kind of similar, not too long ago, is the environmental consultant, they put together, a technical spec or basically explaining what the contractors would bid on for the hazardous materials. So
Has there been anything
What we did
identified
in
on
Barron
this side?
County.
Say it again, Danny.
I was just saying we could model that after what we did in Barron County as well.
yeah.
Yeah, Tim, I believe there was just some tires in the garage, and there's some fluids in there that are identified.
Okay.
It's been a while since I looked at it, but I think that was the bulk
It
of
wasn't
what was in
much
there.
compared to I mean, Clinton County had a lot of
Yeah.
weird stuff going on and in multiple buildings, so it was much more involved. So
And again,
but I know they had been asked before, the environmental consultant, if they could, help manage that, and they said they could. So that just hasn't, no one's, pulled the trigger on that. That's all.
Okay, is there anything else to bring before the board at this time?
Good. Just when I would think we could do an executive committee for the schedule, just so that we can have restart date of the 15th of April for our next regular meeting unless something comes up before that time.
Okay,
And then we can send that out to the board and to the group.
okay. So just executive meetings until, would you say the April 15th?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what he
sounds-
has on the schedule as the next meeting, I think.
All right.
And I will send out an executive meeting request for canceling the meetings between now and that time. And then we'll send the minutes out to reflect that so that the group knows that the future meetings are canceled until the 15th.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. Yep. There's nothing else to bring before the board. I guess we're adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.